Okay, we have our next in-studio guest. We have two folks from CTAP, or Career Transition Assistance Program. Welcome Janis Whitaker and Scott Voigts.
Thank you.
Hi, thanks.
Great. So tell us a little bit about CTAP. What is it that you do and how do you do it?
Well, CTAP stands for the Career Transition Assistance Program, and basically we are a nonprofit organization that offers an 8-module workshop series for military, transitioning military, veterans, and spouses. 2 nights a week for 4 weeks, and we cover such topics as interviewing, networking, resume writing, etc. And we help them with their transition from their military careers to a new civilian career.
Great. And I understand, Scott, you're one of the graduates of this course. Is that correct?
That's right. So I decided to retire after 20 years from the Marine Corps. Never interviewed, never wrote a resume, never did anything in the business environment. And so I was kind of trying to figure out what I was going to do next. I met Janis at a what we call a family day, which is it's something put on by the organization to the command that I was with to give us some information. And I met Janis, who told me about the CTAP program. I went through the class, learned a lot, mostly the networking portion of it, which was very beneficial. It's got me to some positive results that I'm waiting to hear back on. But I loved it so much that I signed my wife up for the class. My wife went to the class as well, and equally beneficial for her. And I've introduced several of my friends to the class who
That's great. I'm curious. Tell me a little bit about whoever is best at this. Tell me a little bit about how you teach networking in what is involved in networking with a class for military transition to civilian life.
Well, networking is very interesting because basically most of the men and women that go through our program have been in the military more than 10 years. Some of them 20, some of them even 30 years. So their network is very small. They know military folks. Well, that's not going to help them much for a civilian career.
Right.
So what we do is we teach them how to use LinkedIn, going to professional networking events. We have them work on what's called a elevator speech, or a 30-second introduction, basically telling them, being able to tell their story in 30 seconds, what it is they're looking for, the skills that they want. And we actually have some practice time where we bring in outside folks and we have a little mini networking event where we give them feedback as to how well they can tell their story in 30 seconds.
Well, I've got
what they're looking for.
Kind of like a networking Shark Tank.
That's right. I've got a suggestion for you.
Yes.
Okay, when you have a networking event with all of the small business owners that we bring on, why don't we find a way to bring on some of our small business owners into your networking event, maybe speakers, maybe just in the crowd, however we do it. I think it would be a fabulous way to introduce business to people that are trying to transition in, and one way that we might be able to give back to you.
I think that's a terrific idea. Nothing better than actually meeting people in the community that have jobs or potential jobs, and they can have interaction to hear what the military folks are all about.
Yeah, from a veteran perspective, I think that would be awesome because in my job search, I found a lot of business owners don't understand the military. Military don't understand the business.
Right.
And a lot of my challenge has been articulating and telling people the story that, being in the military isn't that much different than how a corporation is structured and how it works. We have boards, we have committees, we have groups that have to work, and it's consensus and teamwork, right? And so if we could get that opportunity to have those veterans connect at that level and have those conversations, maybe it would break down some barriers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that takes me back to my military days. But back in those days, you didn't get to get fired if you do something wrong. You had to go to captain's mast. I resemble that remark.
Yeah, yeah. How many times?
We're not going to go.
Yeah. It really is. It's like stepping into another world when you step out of the military.
Yeah.
It's but we adjust quickly. We really do.
Well, that's because y'all have so many of the same skills in the military life that you need out in corporate America.
Yeah.
And so you just need the right efforts to help transition.
You mentioned something about your wife went through the program, too?
Yes.
Was she in the military?
No, my wife has never been in the military.
That is fantastic. I have not heard anybody do that before with a spouse or loved one goes through the program also, so they understand. Wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's important that people understand that it's not only the military person that goes through the transition. The spouse is also going through a transition.
Sure.
From being moved from place to place, and now they're going to settle down, and she or he also needs to get a new career.
Well, they always say the roughest job in the military is being a spouse.
Mm.
Interesting.
Yeah,
So
that's great.
Tell us a little bit more about the. I'm curious about one thing. I was going to ask you about the workshop, but one thing that drives my curiosity first is, do you teach anything about entrepreneurship versus preparing for employment for someone else?
That's a great question. Actually, our specific workshops are not geared towards entrepreneurship. However, we're having more and more military men and women who are interested in that. We have had speakers come in and give them an introduction to that, and it's actually in our future plans to maybe offer an advanced course for those who are interested in entrepreneurship, where they could come back and would have a complete workshop just on that.
That's great. Well, I'll throw this your way. I know that we have one of our hosts here, Urban, who has done an absolute ton of work with teaching disabled vets, the benefits of entrepreneurship and how to work with it. So if you want any help with anything, Urban, can I volunteer you?
Yeah, please. I'd love to do that.
So he used to teach it down at San Diego State on a monthly basis, I think it was.
Yeah.
So
Now, Scott, you're a Marine. We also have Navy here. What branches do you serve? And do you help with this?
We serve all branches and all ranks.
Excellent.
And whether they're a veteran and they've been out of the military for 6 months, a year, or even 15, 20 years, it doesn't matter. We will serve everyone and their spouses.
yeah,
Wow.
that's interesting.
Now, you recently got a big donation, which says a lot about your organization. Tell everybody about that.
Yes, since we are a nonprofit, we do rely upon donations and grants from outside organizations. And we recently received from the Rancho Santa Fe Women's Fund a $43,000 donation to help us with our program. It's been an exciting process and very exciting to have that donation.
Was that the Women's Fund from Rancho Santa Fe?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, great. They're a wonderful group of ladies up there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So tell us more a little bit about the mechanics of the workshop.
So every workshop is a building block. So in the very beginning, we talk about skills. What kind of skills do you have? What are your goals? Basically, our question is, what is it that you want to do when you grow up?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, it's very funny because we're looking at an audience of 30 to 40-year-olds. And we
Hey, I resemble that remark too, okay?
So, we talk about that it's very important to pursue something that you're passionate about, something you have an interest in and that you have absolute skills. We build on that and start talking about how to manage your job search. How do you track? How do you keep track of everyone you've talked to, the cards and the interviews that you have? And then a big meat part of this is the resume. Trying to translate their military skills to civilian skills or civilian speak so that a human resource person from a corporation will be able to understand what it is that they're talking about. We also talk about networking, again, LinkedIn, as I mentioned before, or even just going to professional organizations and learning to explain to others what it is you're looking for and what skills that you can bring to the workplace. Interviewing skills, of course. Most of these men and women have never, ever had a corporate interview. That's always fun, and it's very, very scary.
Oh, I bet that is scary
to help them
for
with
them.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
So we have a whole workshop just on how to present yourself professionally in an interview and speak civilian speak.
Right.
So that someone can understand.
It's hard to imagine, any of these amazing military heroes being intimidated or scared of anything, but I imagine it would be, a little, at least unsettling, if not scary.
It's a whole different world. I've had a gun pointed at my head and scared the whatever out of me. Okay, but But when you get up in front of a group to do public speaking or interview somebody that it be in an interview, it's a whole different world. It's probably more scary to these people than having a gun
than
stuck in
being
their
in combat.
face.
Wow.
Yeah.
It can be a little bit intimidating. Maybe Scott can talk about his first interview.
No, it's absolutely intimidating. And you know, me personally, I have it doubly bad because I'm an IT guy, so I speak IT speak, and then I'm a Marine, so I speak Marine speak, right? And so, you know, I'm interviewing, I'm being asked questions, and I'm trying not to throw out acronyms and abbreviations and four-letter words that, you know, don't translate well. And so that's going on, and getting over those barriers is very difficult, and it's very intimidating.
Yeah, this is amazing. I love this stuff. I definitely want to carry on a lot more conversation about it, but we're running short on time. Tell our listeners how they find out more about CTAP.
Well, our website is www.ctap, that's CTAP, sandiego.org.
Okay, great. And as time goes on, let me know. We want to carry your message forward and help you out however we can, help you raise money for your charity. Anything that we can do, you let us know.
Thank you very much.
Great. Thanks for being with us. This is Close Up on San Diego Business here on KCBQ, streaming live at AM1170, theanswer.com. Send us a tweet at CloseUpSD or just find our page on Facebook. You can always email me at barry@closeupsandiego.com. Let me know what you think. I'm your host, Barry Waxler, and we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.